My sister-in-law, obsessed with becoming a social media influencer, constantly live streams her pranks on me. If I dare to resist, my in-laws scold me for being ungrateful and accuse me of hindering their daughter's path to stardom. My husband even resorts to physical violence, telling me to stop making a fuss. For a measly $250 bounty from her viewers, my sister-in-law's family locks me out on the balcony. Crying, I tell my husband I'm pregnant, begging them not to treat me this way. But upon hearing about my pregnancy, my sister-in-law excitedly urges my husband to keep me on the balcony, claiming pregnant women are more resistant to cold. That night, the temperature plummets from over 90 degrees Fahrenheit to 14 degrees Fahrenheit as a terrifying ice age apocalypse descends upon us. I freeze to death on the balcony. Within a month, the temperature drops to negative 94 degrees Fahrenheit, and the world is encased in ice. When I open my eyes again, I've returned to the day my sister-in-law decided to become an influencer. This time, it's my turn to sit inside, enjoying hot pot and barbecue while live streaming their miserable fate. Mom, look, my video pranking my sister-in-law got so many views. I need to make more of these, Lily exclaimed, waving her phone proudly at her parents in the living room. Once I become famous, I'll be rich enough to treat you to all the good stuff. Hearing that familiar voice, I couldn't help but shiver. Even standing in the sunlight, my whole body trembled. The bone-chilling cold that had seeped into my very marrow in my past life was impossible to shake off. After all, I had been frozen to death. I pinched my arm hard, and the pain finally made me realize I had been reborn. At this moment, my in-laws were praising their daughter for being smart and destined for great things. Martha, my mother-in-law, then glared at me viciously. You useless girl, did you hear that? You better cooperate with the videos. If you ruin my daughter's chance at fame and fortune, I won't let you off easy. She had said the same thing in my past life. Back then, I had privately asked Lily to change her content, but Lily had gone to her parents in tears, claiming I was jealous of her success. George, my father-in-law, had immediately flown into a rage, calling me a jinx who couldn't stand to see their family prosper. Martha had pointed at me, yelling that I was worthless and trying to obstruct her daughter's path to stardom. My husband Jack had beaten me black and blue, warning me not to cause trouble. Later, for a $250 bounty in Lily's livestream, the whole family had locked me out on the balcony. Even when I cried and told Jack I was pregnant, begging them not to do this to me, the family remained unmoved. Lily had excitedly said, "It's even better that she's pregnant. Pregnant women are more resistant to cold. Brother, quick, put her on the balcony. More and more people are joining my live stream. I'm about to become a big star." In the end, they had locked me on the balcony. I had planned to divorce Jack and abort the baby once this was over. That night, the temperature had suddenly dropped from over 90 degrees Fahrenheit to 14 degrees Fahrenheit as the terrifying ice age apocalypse struck. I kept banging on the balcony door, begging them to let me in. My hands were bruised and bleeding, but they still refused to open the door. Desperate to survive, I had tried to break the glass with my body. When the glass cracked, Lily quickly told Jack to move a cabinet to block the door. In the warm interior, Lily had eaten a popsicle in her short sleeves, laughing at me. "Sis, you're pregnant. What are you afraid of? A little cold won't hurt you." With my bloodied fingers clawing at the door, I had begged, "Lily, please, if you leave me out here any longer, my baby and I will die." But Lily had just pointed her phone at me, telling her viewers, "See guys, pregnant women really are tough. Look, my sister-in-law isn't dead yet." Lily's cruelty had chilled me to the bone. Eventually, I had succumbed to exhaustion and died on the balcony, my tears freezing on my face. Thankfully, heaven had taken pity on me and given me a chance to be reborn. Now, it was still a hot summer day with temperatures in the 90s. The cicadas were chirping loudly outside, with no sign of the impending ice age apocalypse. But in just a week, one night, the temperature would suddenly drop from over 90 degrees Fahrenheit to 14 degrees Fahrenheit. After that, it would get colder each day until it reached negative 94 degrees Fahrenheit, and the whole world would be frozen. The fire of revenge burned fiercely in my heart. This time, I would definitely get my revenge and send this whole family to hell with my own hands. Pretending to be meek and obedient, I replied to Martha, "Yes, Mom, I'll cooperate with Lily's videos." Martha seemed somewhat surprised by my compliance but still scolded me. "You useless girl, don't you know it's time to make dinner? Why are you just standing there like an idiot? Go cook now." I clenched my fist tightly, reminding myself not to act rashly. Then I walked into the kitchen and started preparing dinner. As we were about to eat, Jack came home. I had just washed my hands and was about to sit down when Jack kicked me. "What are you doing? The supermarket shelves are empty. Go stock them." Holding back my pain, I agreed and grabbed the keys from the shoe cabinet, heading downstairs without another word. When I got married, my parents had given me a commercial property as part of my dowry, which we had turned into a small supermarket. Since opening the supermarket, no one in this big family had gone out to work. They all relied on this small business for their livelihood. Not only that, but they had dumped the most tiring and dirty jobs of restocking and shelf arrangement on me. To maintain the household expenses, I worked part-time during the day, and came back to organize the supermarket shelves at night. So no one knew this supermarket better than I did. After restocking the shelves, I grabbed some sausages, bread, and drinks, and went to the storage room where we kept our supplies. After eating, I called my parents who still lived in the suburbs. Hearing my parents' voices through the phone again, tears welled up in my eyes uncontrollably. In my past life, after I died, my parents had called me several times, but no one answered. Then they had called Jack to ask about me. Originally, Jack had been afraid of being exposed, so he had replied to my parents using my WeChat account, making them believe I was still alive. Later, when the temperature dropped suddenly and the ice age apocalypse came, my parents had asked me on WeChat if I could send them some food. The temperature had dropped too quickly, and they couldn't buy anything in the suburbs. Lily had seen the chat history and instigated Jack to trick my parents out of their money. So Lily and Jack had conspired together, making up an excuse that I was sick. Lily had even worn my clothes to pretend to be me. My parents had believed them and immediately transferred all their money. After getting all the money from my parents, they had made a video call to my parents, calling them big idiots and fools, saying no wonder their daughter was also a fool. They had told them their daughter had already frozen to death, and even sent photos of my corpse to my parents. This had immediately triggered my father's heart condition, and he had collapsed. The last thing I heard was my mother's panicked screams before the video call was cut off. Thinking of this, my voice choked up as I called out, "Dad, Mom." My father thought I was upset about something, and immediately tried to comfort me, even threatening to come over and beat up Jack. My mother told me to divorce Jack immediately and come back home. I shook my head, saying I wasn't mistreated. In my past life, my parents had been tragically killed by Lily and Jack. This time, I definitely wouldn't let these two dogs off the hook, but I also wouldn't let my parents get involved. They were getting old and should enjoy their retirement peacefully. I would handle everything. My parents still didn't believe that I wasn't being mistreated, so I changed the subject and said, "Mom, Dad, can you rent the house next door?" My parents were confused about why I wanted them to rent the house next door. I explained to them that extreme weather would occur in the future, and the previous owner of the house next door was a foreigner. Foreigners naturally like to dig various basements to store things and use as shelters, so there was a large basement under the house. After the foreign owner left, the house had been listed on a second-hand platform for sale. Because it was in the suburbs, it had been on the market for a long time without any buyers. In the future extreme weather, temperatures would eventually drop to -94 degrees Fahrenheit. By then, having food and drink wouldn't be enough. A safe shelter would also be crucial. Although my parents didn't quite believe that extreme weather would occur, after all, it was still blazing hot outside. They still did as I said. After hanging up the phone with my parents, I contacted a moving company. Under the guise of restocking goods, I secretly transported some items from the supermarket storage room to my parents' place. There was about a week left before the Ice Age apocalypse arrived. By moving a portion every day during this time, I could empty the entire warehouse without anyone noticing. This time, it would be my turn to sit inside with my parents, eating barbecue around the fireplace while live streaming the miserable fate of Lily's family. By the time I finished all this, it was already dark outside. I had just gone upstairs but hadn't entered the door when I heard Lily's coquettish laughter. "Brother, look. This person is as stupid as my sister-in-law." Opening the door, I saw a harmonious family scene. The whole family was gathered around Lily, like stars revolving around the moon. Lily was the late-born daughter of my in-laws, and was extremely pampered. Martha especially doted on Lily, saying Lily was her little cotton jacket. Jack also adored Lily, saying he was Lily's eternal support, and that with him around, Lily didn't need to get married for her entire life. Hearing the door open, the family looked in my direction. As soon as Martha saw it was me, she immediately put on a stern face and scolded, "You useless girl, what are you standing there for like a door god? You scared me." Lily held her phone in one hand, and a bowl of fruit salad in the other as she walked towards me. "Sis, we forgot to save you some dinner. Here, have some fruit to fill your stomach." I looked at Lily, who was smiling with ill intentions. In my past life, I had eaten it without suspicion, only to find out the fruit salad contained mango, which I was allergic to. My whole body had broken out in a rash. Lily had laughed loudly while holding her phone, telling her livestream viewers, "Look guys, my stupid sister-in-law ate it. Look at her allergic reaction." Martha had laughed along, saying, "Our Lily is so clever, making that useless girl look foolish." Jack had pointed at me, saying I looked ugly like that. At that moment, my heart had completely turned cold, and I realized I couldn't stay in this family anymore. I had thoughts of divorce, but soon after, the Ice Age apocalypse had struck. This time, since they could prank me for a $250 bounty, they could just as easily prank someone else for the same money. I decided to test it out. I pretended to have a stomachache, bending over and saying, "My stomach doesn't feel good. I need to use the bathroom first." But Lily insisted I eat before going. I pushed Lily away and quickly ran to the bathroom. Martha cursed behind me. Lazy people always need to pee. I ignored Martha's words because she would soon taste the bitter fruit of her actions. In the bathroom, I took out my phone and entered Lily's live stream. I directly put up a $250 bounty in Lily's live stream to prank her own mother. At the same time, I commented, "Pranking the sister-in-law is boring now. Let's try something new, like pranking your own mom." I wanted to see just how much their so-called family affection was worth. Sure enough, the next second I heard Lily excitedly tell everyone, "Dad, Mom, brother, look, someone just donated to my livestream. I'm about to become a big star."